What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. We've got nothing better to do. The show where we talk about movies, TV shows, and video games. I'm your host, Nathaniel, and this week I am joined by Parker and Jeremy. We are back. What is up? How are you? I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Let's get into the news. We got a lot of news this week. Some pretty big news this week, actually. Take a little sip of my water right there. First bit of news is after 3 years of the internet crying out in anger and frustration and want, Warner Brothers finally was like, all right, fine, whatever. Okay, we'll do it. So just shut up, all right? Shut up about the sun. Just kidding. The Snyder Cut. The long-fabled Snyder Cut for Justice League is coming to HBO Max. And so people have been asking about the Snyder Cut since the news that Zack Snyder wasn't finishing Justice League. So he essentially created the DCEU. He started with Man of Steel. And then he directed Batman v Superman, and then he directed part of Justice League, but he had to leave because of a family tragedy. And Joss Whedon ended up finishing the project. And notoriously, Justice League wasn't that good. And because it wasn't that good, everyone was like, oh, I want to see the Zack Snyder version. # release the Snyder Cut. And the biggest, all the autistic kids on the internet were like,
I don't think you can say that.
Give us what we want. I can do what I want. This is my show, okay? Just kidding. I apologize. But yeah, essentially, fans were crying out for the Snyder Cut because they believed it was better or whatever. And so now Warner Brothers has said, okay, we're going to do it. We're going to put it on HBO Max. And so I think the original Snyder version was like 4 hours long. Like they were trying to cut it down when he had to leave. So it's like 4 hours. And it's a lot of it's unfinished. Because I think they only shot about half of it. Or something like that. Or like they shot it, but it wasn't like all the post-production wasn't done. So like the CGI and some of that stuff wasn't done. So what they're doing is they're going to release it. It's going to be like a mini series. It's going to be 6 episodes or chapters. Oh no. Okay. So they haven't decided whether or not it will be the 4-hour director's cut or they'll split it into 6 episodes. And so apparently they're gonna try to finish a lot of the stuff that wasn't done, so all the visual effects, and then a lot of the cast will be coming back to record additional dialogue, so do ADR. And I think some of it might be fully CG because they can't get the actors back to re-record. But this is kind of like unheard of that like a director had to leave a project and years later still wanted to come back and the fans wanted him to come back, and then the production company was like, yeah, we'll fund it and we'll do it because obviously people want this, so we'll make money. And because like
because we'll make money.
Yeah, got to have money. You can't make movies normally right now because we're in quarantine, so why not just do all this stuff that you can do remotely and release this thing? So it's kind of cool that they're doing it. It's also kind of like a dangerous precedent because it's like you're rewarding toxic fan bases for something that they've been asking for and like sending death threats because of. But also at the same time, there are people that are like cordial about it and not flipping out and threatening people. So I mean, there's two sides to it, but still, I have never seen Justice League. Have either of you seen it? I don't think you saw it, Jeremy.
I saw Justice League in like one of the top 3 largest IMAXs in the world.
I thought you saw Batman v Superman.
Oh yeah, no, it's Batman v Superman. Never mind.
Yeah, because this one you went to Australia. Justice League came out 3 years ago, I think. Let me check that. Just to
I've yet to see any of the new DC movies.
I only saw Man of Steel, and the first half is good, and then the second half is a Dragon Ball Z fan film. Yes.
I somehow haven't even seen Wonder Woman.
I thought you saw it with us in theaters.
Nope.
No.
Who did I see it with? It was with you were with me, right, Jeremy? Was it Matt that we saw it with?
Matt, Colin, and Jordan.
Maybe? Jordan? It might have been Jordan. Yeah. Wonder Woman's good. I liked it.
Yeah, I remember during Wonder Woman, I fell asleep though. Just not because of the movie, just because I was so tired. It was a late movie. But I re-saw it, and it was good.
Justice League came out March 13th, 2018. So 2 years ago.
I just remember some of the visual effects were not the best.
Yeah, the Superman lip. The SpongeBob lip.
Superman
gosh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really paying attention to that, so I've heard it's bad though.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. The reviews are pretty bad. Got a 6.4 on IMDb and a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes. Overall, generally, people don't like this movie. And I haven't really I had a feeling it was going to be bad, so I didn't see it. And I haven't really gotten around to it because I don't want to watch a bad movie. But I am interested in the director's cut just because I've heard so much, like, people have been talking about it forever, and who knows what it's actually going to be. But, like, originally Zack Snyder wanted it to be 2 movies, to be 2 parts. So the first would end on a cliffhanger. And I think he wanted to kill Batman and, like, a bunch of this other, and Darkseid was actually supposed to be a part of it, not just Steppenwolf.
I'm pretty sure you're supposed to go Superman.
No, I think his original one was he wanted to kill Batman, but then they changed it to be the death of Superman. But yeah, so there's a lot of stuff that was cut out that I guess they're gonna put back in. So I think, I don't know when this is gonna come out. It might not be for a while, or they might have already been working on it and it'll come out soon. But so whenever it does come out, I think I might watch Justice League. I don't know if I should just watch the director's cut or watch the original version and then the director's cut, so I can kind of see the difference. But
well, the director's cut's gonna be a lot longer.
Yeah,
I felt like Justice League was.
I don't know,
there's a lot weird with it.
I think it's pretty long. I think it's like 2 hours.
It's just like okay. I don't remember there was like. Best part of it was Aquaman. No.
Yeah, and like the Justice League, they have a huge, like, they can't even like do anything to Steppenwolf, and then Superman shows up and then he just kicks his butt. So I heard like the finale is just I don't know, just overall it's just not great, and it's partially because it was essentially Joss Whedon had to come in and save an unfinished project that he didn't start. So there's just a bunch of stuff that happened, but it's interesting. I think no matter what, I will check it out. Like, I don't know which route I'll take, if I watch the original then this one, or just watch the director's cut. But I think I will watch it. But what about you guys? Is your interest peaked on the Snyder cut finally becoming a thing?
No.
No, you're not gonna watch it.
If I'm going to watch it, I'm going to watch Man of Steel, everything else first.
Have you not seen any of the other ones?
I haven't seen any DC film. Not since...
Jeez.
You haven't seen
since the
Suicide
Dark Knight
Squad?
Rises.
Or...
Nope.
You haven't seen any of them?
None.
Have you seen Joker?
Huh.
Yeah, I saw Joker, I guess.
Well, that one doesn't really count. It's
That's what I've been
outside
told.
of. Yeah, it's outside of canon.
It's canon. It's just not DC extended universe. Whatever.
Well,
The DCU.
you could say that about
All
any
that.
movie. Any movie is canon, except in other universes. That doesn't mean anything.
It's just not in the DC universe yet.
Well, no, it's not supposed to be a part of it. It's like separate.
Well, yeah, it's like that's like saying Marvel films that aren't in the MCU aren't Marvel films.
No, it's not saying that. It's not canon to the DC universe, the movie universe. It's like Spider-Man and the MCU. Like it's a Marvel movie and it has its own canon, but it's not canon to the MCU. That's what I'm saying.
It's weird saying that about the DCU though, because it's
really
a thing.
It's not really a thing, but they tried. It's the thought that counts. But speaking of Spider-Man and the MCU and movies that are not technically canon, there's a Madam Web movie that is rumored to be in development. And this comes from Variety, so you'd probably take it without a grain of salt. And so I'm curious, do either of you know who Madam Web is?
No.
What?
No, without looking her up.
No, just pull up the name.
Oh.
Madam Web.
Yeah,
Nope.
So Madam Web she's a Spider-Man character.
Webb's older sister.
And she's essentially like the keeper of fate.
What the?
She is like a lady with like no legs. But she sits on like a throne of like a spider web. And pretty much like she's Spider-Man's like guardian. She's the keeper of fate, essentially. But apparently they're gonna do a movie about her, which
she's pretty weird.
I don't understand what they would do with that, because she doesn't really do anything.
That's just the name of the next Spider-Man movie.
Just Madam Web. Yeah, she doesn't really have any powers. She's never really fought anybody. So I don't know how you do maybe it'd be a prequel of how she becomes Madam Web. But yeah, I don't know. Apparently some of the possible stars to play her are Charlize Theron and Amy Adams. So yeah, I don't know. Okay, apparently her name is Cassandra Webb with 2 B's. She's born and raised in Oregon. Cool. In Salem. Where the witches were.
Don't think that's the same Salem.
No, Salem. The other Salem is on the East Coast.
I know.
I'm just gonna look up a little bit of her description on the Marvel Wiki. Let's see. She's 5'6", 110 pounds. Okay, she's a mutant.
What? Why are you looking?
It's just on her thing. She's a human mutant whose blindness and physical limitations allowed her mind to tap into its mystical potential, giving her advanced mental powers. Okay, so she's some sort of mind powers. Okay, powers and abilities. So she has telepathy. She can do astral projection, clairvoyance, so she can sense the future and what's happening, and prescience, perceive aspects of the future, and she's immortal. Strength
and on
level.
top of it, she's just immortal because.
So, on the power grid, she has a 1 in fighting skills, energy projection, durability, speed, strength, and a whopping 4 in intelligence.
Out of 5?
I think out of like 10. Or no, out of 8.
What?
It's halfway. 4 out of 8.
Who puts a scale out of 8?
I don't know. Maybe it's out of 7.
So she has a 1 in everything but intelligence, which she has a 50% in.
Well,
I don't know if it's 50%.
And she's not.
It just says 4,
think
but
about
on the grid it looks
how
like.
smart some people are in the
Yeah,
MCU. I'm sure,
so
like
Reed Richards would be
Einstein.
top.
Einstein would be like
He'd probably be a 5 or 4
Einstein.
or 5.
What? No, not even close. Not in the MCU. People in the MCUs have thousands of IQ points, which is just stupid.
What's
those
Reed
are like
Richards' IQ?
Okay. So that would make Einstein a 2. A 1.7.
Wait, hold on. Let me see what Reed Richards is on the database. Let's see. Where's the power grid? Okay. So I think it is out of 8. So he has a 3 in fighting skills, a 1 in energy projection, a 5 in durability, 2 in speed and strength, and a 6 in intelligence.
Yeah, so
It's IQ.
4 intelligence is nothing to scoff at. What is Tony Stark's?
He'd probably have like I'd probably say
4 or
like
5. It's probably
Tony
5.
Stank.
Reed Richards' IQ is 267. It's not in the thousands. And he's also described as having a level 12 intellect by Tony Stark.
Let's see. Tony Stark. Ooh, he looks pretty good. Okay, so just as Tony Stark, he has a 4 in fighting skills, 1 in energy projection, 1 durability, 2 in speed and strength, and a 6 in intelligence. So he's on par with Reed Richards. But then when he has the armor, he has a 4 in fighting skills, 6 energy projection, 6 in durability, 5 in speed, 6 in strength, and 6 in intelligence.
Seems balanced.
He's not broken. Okay, well let me look at what I'm gonna look at a character that literally his power is described as whatever the threat is, he has the power to stop it.
Who is that?
Starbrand.
Oh, that's like, what is it? Reed Richards' son? It's like OP.
No, well, Franklin
Saitama.
Richards is just OP because he can create pocket universes and warp reality and.
Who wins,
Random.
Saitama or the guy you read?
Saitama.
Well, no, because Saitama, there are villains that he can't one punch, but this guy, he has a space force within him
There's been one
that gives
person
him
who has
ample
one
power.
punch,
There was
and
one
he was
person,
considered a world-ending.
and
I'm pretty sure
Saitama one punched him once he used super serious punches. Like he was just guessing. And,
Consecutive normal punches.
if you would have
he
normal
didn't
punch
even-
at the beginning.
yeah, if he would have just normal punched in the beginning, if he was just having fun.
He was
He is a hero
actually
for fun.
extreme.
No, Starbrand's character is literally like, if there's a threat to the planet, no matter what it is, the Starbrand will give him the power to combat it.
Why would you write a character like that?
There's a lot of characters like this in Marvel.
And, like,
And
extended.
there's a reason nobody knows about them because they're lame.
But like the most recent Starbrand was like the person it bonded with was like a mistake. He was like the closest person in the area, and so he has to learn how to use it after accidentally like blowing up a planet.
What?
Yeah.
He blows up a planet that
Well,
gets...
he's like a 15-year-old that gets the power, like
And then
essentially
just blows up a
unlimited
planet.
power. Yeah, because he doesn't know what he's doing, and it's like controlling him. Speaking of unlimited power, dude, I'm on par with these segues today. It was the 15th anniversary of the Revenge of the Sith last week. Shout out to a legend. And it was also the 40th anniversary of The Empire Strikes Back last week. So shout out to another legend. And so, really quick, what is your favorite part about episode 3 and your favorite part about episode 5, Parker?
Well, I have to sneeze.
That's my favorite part too.
Dude, that's my favorite line.
Such a great line.
My favorite part was probably just the starting scene. Well, when the AT-ATs land on Hoth. And it's just like...
Also, how do they get... Oh, we'll talk about it. But how do they get there? They don't show how the AT-ATs appear on Hoth. They just...
They fold into suitcases.
They drop them from space like the bombs in episode 8.
At least
Hoth has
gravity.
Don't you know that ships have gravity around them? Duh. Jeremy, what is your favorite part of episode 3 and episode 5?
Episode 3, I love... it's just like a well-rounded movie to me.
Well, your favorite just single part, like your favorite line or something, just one thing.
Just the whole fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan and the dialogue they have is so good. So many memes, but it's also really good dialogue.
It's actually, yes, it is actually. Your new empire.
My favorite part of
it just shows how like
Chief Palpatine screaming.
It's treason then. My favorite part of episode 3 is probably either hello there or
I always forget that's
Obi-Wan crying because he loved his brother too much and it blinded him from what he was becoming, and he leaves him to die because he can't do it. He doesn't have the strength.
I know what I must do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it.
And then of episode 5, it'd probably be the space insect. I mean,
what? I love it when two siblings kiss each other straight on the lips, just macking out. Wow. Actually, I'm gonna look that up.
No, I think
what? Of all the edits George Lucas made, he chose to keep that scene.
Yep.
Han couldn't shoot first, but Leia and
Luke. And then it's like my favorite part is the part where Luke just like lays back and he's like grins at Han.
Oh yeah.
Only to find out they're siblings.
My favorite part of episode 5 is the where Leia's like, "I love you," and Han says, "I know." That's the best part. That's so good. Okay.
You should try that in real life and see how well it works.
I will. I'll get back to you on that.
Okay, just
I won't hold my breath.
All right. Next news.
Funny.
Shut up. Next news.
I can't laugh so hard.
Because it took me a second to realize what you said.
News. There's a rumor that if Christopher Nolan's Tenet does bad, that every other movie production company is closely watching for the success of Tenet, because if it does bad, that means no more movies until December or possibly next year. Because Tenet is still scheduled to
isn't
release
Tenet isn't going to open until like 80% of the movie theaters open?
Well, I think restaurants and malls are opening this week across the country. So we're like in, hopefully, the end of quarantine. So they should be open by July.
I think we're at the end of phase 1.
All the stuff in Idaho and Oregon is open back up.
Yeah, but like,
and there's gonna be so many new cases.
And the drive-in in Oregon and Idaho, they've been open this entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean like regular theaters. So by July, hopefully we're at least at 80% capacity. So if I think because Christopher Nolan, I don't know. They said they won't do it unless they're at 80%, but we'll see. But yeah, so if Tenet does bad, that means no more movies for the rest of the year. So go see Tenet.
No more major movies.
No, I think it's like, well, at least like theatrical movies, not like streaming movies and stuff, but like go see Tenet when it comes out. 1, it'll probably be really good. But 2,
I've heard it's
if you want movies to come out this year, go see Tenet.
I'm kind of excited for it because I was hearing some stuff about like even the cast were like.
I'm really excited.
Like when they first started reading it, we're like confused, but then they kind of like realized his direction and like.
Yeah, I mean,
apparently they're all that super invested in it.
I'm
Did you
really
say
confused.
they were confused and then they weren't?
No.
So they're still confused to this day.
I probably.
Yeah, probably.
It's like
it's
gonna
Nolan
be the
movie.
new Inception.
Yeah, it is a Nolan.
Nolan's movies are always like a little out there, but so good once you realize it.
What are some of his other movies? Why can't I think of any?
Inception, Interstellar, The Prestige. That's a great movie.
I mean, he does like
Memento.
other movies like he did like the Dark Knight, but
trilogy.
apparently he did Dark Knight just so he could do what was the
Inception.
movie he wanted to do? Was it Inception?
Yeah, because he wanted to make that, and Warner Brothers was like, "You're not good enough yet. Make these Batman movies." And then
he made some of the best Batman movies just to make Inception.
He made some of the best He made one of like the best movies ever in The Dark Knight.
Yeah, The Dark Knight is like top 10 movies of all time.
And then they're like, "Okay, you can make Inception now."
They're like, "Oh wait, oh yeah, go
ahead."
Go ahead. Actually, we already started it for
you. Speaking of Tenet, the second trailer for it came out, and
haven't seen the first.
I have no freaking idea what the heck is going on.
I'm kind of happy.
Well, yeah, like they gave you a little bit, just enough to get you intrigued.
Yeah, I'm like super intrigued.
It's a good trailer.
Yeah.
Like they give you just enough to where you've kind of got an idea, but you still have like no idea what's going on. So it looks like he's like part of like an agency that's like no one knows about, that somehow have the ability to make time flow backwards, and they're trying to prevent World War III.
If like it's Men in Black, but instead of fighting aliens, they fought an other terrorist organization that also can make time flow backwards. It's crazy.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, it's Christopher Nolan. You don't get no.
The trailer looks great. The cast is really good. Yeah, I just can't wait for it to come out so I can go to a theater and maybe see it a couple times, you know, just to do my part so that the movie business doesn't go under. Because that would suck, because then what have I been doing for this whole time?
It's never going to go under. It would just switch to a more streaming service platform.
And that would suck. But speaking of things that suck,
I would be fine with it.
The Avatar sequels.
Are not with it.
No, Avatar sequels are to resume production.
When did they stop?
For quarantine.
Well, thanks.
Well, when was quarantine start? Like 2 months ago?
I don't know.
2 or 3 months ago.
So probably 2 or 3 months ago.
I was a little late to the curve. No one in LeGrand had the corona. We just kind of went about our daily lives until one person in the entire county got it.
So they're filming in New Zealand, and I think they're starting this week, actually. So they're filming 2 and 3 right now, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, so Avatar 2 was supposed to come out next December. I think it still is. And then
2021 or 2020?
2021, so this December after this December, so a year. And then the 3rd, 4th, and 5th are slated for December 2023, 2025, and 2027. Crazy. Yeah, someone go shoot that dog, please. Just kidding.
What?
Don't shoot the dog.
Jeez.
Whoa. Can't say.
This just in. Nathaniel hates dogs.
I love dogs. Okay.
Whoa.
Just when you get to shoot them.
I don't think you can say that.
I wasn't the first person to say that. Okay. Have you ever read Old Yeller?
No.
Well, spoilers. They shoot the dog.
Whoa. Come on, dude. That just came out.
Sorry, spoilers for a book from like the 20s or whenever it came out.
Whoa.
That you probably read in elementary school.
Misinformation.
Okay, when did Old Yeller come out? Like,
I don't know.
Let's see.
Okay, take a guess.
Yeller
I want you to take a better
release.
guess than the 20s, because that's way off.
37.
56.
Wow, 57. Wait, no, that's the movie. When did the book come out?
56.
It came out in 57. The book came out in 57.
Old Yeller is a 1956 children's novel.
I'm looking at the movie. That's what I just said.
I just said I'm looking at the book, and it came out in 56.
I didn't hear that. I thought you were guessing that it came out in 56. Anyways, that book came out, what, 60 years ago?
Yes.
So because one person wants to shoot a dog, you're just going to shoot them all?
I mean, that's what PETA did.
It's true. PETA's a bunch of terrible people.
Okay, anyways. Speaking of animals.
Terrible people.
No.
Speaking of animals, what?
So James Mangold, he directed Logan, and Wolverine is an animal. Oh. And James Mangold is also directing Indiana Jones 5. I'm okay with this. So James Mangold, he directed Logan and Ford v Ferrari, which were both really good movies. Yeah, so he's a very good director. He got nominated for an Oscar, or his movie did.
Keeping up on my movie game.
Have you seen Ford v Ferrari?
No. It's good. All these movies I haven't seen.
Ford v Ferrari was super good, actually.
It's really good.
As you guys, wait, did I take you guys? You guys see Solo with me in the theater?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, as you know, I don't like to go there because it's not good. You guys have experienced it firsthand.
Not to worry, you are still flying half a theater.
A quarter of a theater.
I mean, it's better than nothing.
A long hallway called a theater.
These are some other good stuff.
But yeah, so Indiana Jones being directed by Jaime Mangold. I'm just curious to see. I want to know more about what Indy 5 is going to be. So we know it's Harrison Ford is coming back. Apparently, don't expect production on Indy 5 to begin anytime soon, especially as it relates to coronavirus. And Marshall also, he's looking to restart another franchise. Oh, so apparently the producer wants to reboot Bourne?
Wait, reboot it? Isn't there a Bourne movie coming out soon?
No, I don't think so. I haven't heard anything.
Bourne 8. It's really good.
I think it'd be 5.
Thought.
No. There's just a lot of Bourne movies. I mean, they're all pretty good, to be honest.
I remember Parker and I marathoned them when the new one came out, and then we didn't even go see it together.
Yeah, I would have to re-marathon them because I don't know which order they occur in. I just know
they go 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, thanks. I don't know what happens in 1 as compared to what happens in 3. If you showed me a clip from each of them, I would think they were the same movie.
Well, 1, 2, and 3 are good, but 4 was just kind of.
Isn't 4 the one where it's a different guy?
Oh no, technically it is 5 because there's one with Jeremy Renner. Yeah.
That one was good, actually.
I never saw that one. But it was
it was just kind of meh.
It was like, what if we make Jeremy Renner the newborn? And people didn't really like it. So they're like.
To be honest, like in the movie though, it's so funny because because they give him like that like medicine or whatever or drug that like pretty much makes him the Bourne, but without it, he is like 100 IQ or something. Like they had to bump his IQ up just so he could be elected into the program. That's pretty much the premise.
Cool. Well, moving on. Video game news. So a lot of things had anniversaries last week. It was the 40th anniversary of Pac-Man. So it shares a birthday with Empire Strikes Back. And it was also the 10-year anniversary of Super Mario Galaxy 2, one of my favorite games of all time. And quite possibly one of the best Mario games / 3D platformers of all time. Super fun. There has seldom been a game that has entranced me as much as Super Mario Galaxy 2 did. I remember playing it when it came out that summer and just fell in love with it. It's such a fun game. It's so well designed, has a great soundtrack, it's fully orchestrated, and it looks great, even though it's in 480p on the Wii. It still looks phenomenal for a standard definition game. And it's just really good, and I really hope they port it to the Switch, because I want to play it again, because it's really good.
Remaster.
Yeah, so those two things had an anniversary this week. And speaking of...
I have an update on Jason Bourne.
Yep.
In October 2019, Ben Smith, who was a prior producer of the franchise, confirmed that a film is in development for Jason Bourne.
That could mean a lot of things, though.
That just means they're writing, trying to come up with an idea of what they can do that they already haven't done.
Yes.
Well,
and they probably didn't get anything anywhere.
Yeah, that's not there's a production company backing us. I want to make a movie, so I'm trying to make a movie.
Well, it does say it will tie into the Treadstone television series. So if they have that in mind.
Oh, there's a Bourne television series?
Yeah. I think Treadstone is the program, right?
When does that come out?
Yeah. I thought it's already out.
Idea. It's probably if it's on like ABC though, it probably sucks.
Yeah, it came out in 2018.
Oh.
It's on USA Network.
Oh, like yeah, I never even heard of that, so I have a feeling that movie isn't gonna happen.
Sure.
Oh, it'll happen.
I'm not holding my breath. And more video games.
I guarantee you someday. Someday.
In other video game news, Metroid Prime Trilogy could be coming out next month. So apparently, a Swedish retailer updated its listings for Metroid Prime Trilogy HD on the Switch. Said it's coming out next month, I think on the 19th. And this is the same retailer that leaked the Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition date, which was the actual date that it was coming out. So this is probably legit, and it makes sense because they haven't had a direct, but they've just been kind of shadow dropping / announcing the games. Like we got an announcement that Paper Mario is coming out in a month, just out of nowhere. So I wouldn't be surprised if in a week Nintendo was like, hey, guess what? Metroid Prime Trilogy is coming to the Switch in a week. Which would be cool, because I've been saying I want to play it. Because I played the first one on GameCube, and it's really fun, and it still holds up. But I would love for them to port it to a game, or to the Switch, and actually make it so that you can use the second stick. Because playing a first-person shooter with only one control stick is really weird. But yeah, those are very good games, and I would very much like to play them when it comes out. And also that we're getting like 2 pretty big games in June, just out of nowhere, because we didn't know about them before. So that's pretty cool. And speaking of good games, Sonic games might actually be good now. What? I know. Crazy. So apparently Sega has finally learned their lesson after, let's count, Sonic Forces, that's one. Sonic Lost World. I think Sonic Generations was before that, so that one was good.
Sonic 2006.
Sonic Colors was good, so there's 2 that are good. And then Sonic Unleashed.
Sonic 2006 is easily the best one.
Sonic 06. So 4 bad games. But then also you had like Shadow the Hedgehog, which is 5. And then like Sonic Heroes and Sonic and the Secret Rings. Sonic
what was the one where you
like
major owned Sonic?
That one's Sonic Forces. So like 8 bad Sonic games over the course of like 10, 15 years or something like that. They finally, and only having 3 good games in the midst of that. They were like, maybe we should have a longer development schedule for these games so that maybe they'll be better. Our fans have suffered long enough. let's try to make him a good game.
When will they learn?
Well, your actions have consequences. So that's
I
cool.
wonder if he'll come back.
Because the last Sonic game I played was Unleashed, which is kind of like in the middle. Like people really like it for the, because there's two gameplay mechanics. There's regular Sonic, which is like the day, and then there's Werewolf Sonic. Yes, Werewolf Sonic, Werehog Sonic, which are the night levels. But when I played it, I remember really enjoying the entire game. Maybe I need to replay it and actually see, because apparently people didn't like the night levels, but the day levels are really good because they kind of refined the modern 3D Sonic formula. So that was the last Sonic game that I played. I really enjoyed it, and I've been kind of hoping that there'd be a good Sonic game. Oh, so also Sonic Boom. That one was bad.
What was the one like kind of like indie Sonic game that was made?
Sonic Mania. That was one of the good ones.
That was it.
So yeah, I would love it if there was another good Sonic game, because I actually really like Sonic games, and I haven't played any of the recent ones because they're bad. I haven't played Sonic Mania, but maybe I'll get around to it someday. But yeah, so Sonic games might actually be good now. And that'll do it for news this week. And so we're going to go into our topic, and because, we were talking about anniversaries earlier, a very, very special movie had an anniversary, and that was Revenge of the Sith.
The movie.
So we're actually doing another review of Revenge of the Sith for its 15th anniversary. So buckle up, everybody. No, just kidding.
Another review?
No. Why are we doing this?
No. We're doing our retro review for episode 5. Star Wars episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Because we haven't done it yet. Because we
definitely watched this movie recently.
I did. Because I put the short on my back.
The rest of us did.
Because we did episode 1, 2, 3, Rogue One, Solo, 4, episode 9. That's the order we went in. So yeah, we have to go back to the past to go to the future. By the time we finish and we get to episode 8, we could probably do another review of episode 9. Just kidding. No. But yeah, so we're doing episode 5. Probably what is most widely considered the best Star Wars movie. Probably my favorite.
What about the holiday special?
That one doesn't count. It's too good. It's in its own category because it's so good.
If you haven't seen it, make sure you watch it.
Definitely watch it. Or just
Nathaniel
watch...
highly recommend it.
You have. It's hard to find, but that's just because it's so in demand.
Just watch JonTron's video on it.
Shout out JonTron.
Yeah, shout out to JonTron.
Shout out the boy.
I'd love to, if you want to collab, you know where to find us. We'd love to do something with you.
I just want to hang out. I just want to hang out in your basement.
Just want to be friends. Touch you. Just want to be friends and hang out in your cool film set basement.
I just want to touch your face.
6 feet apart, 6 feet apart.
No.
I'd like to meet Jacques.
I'd break quarantine for you
if he's still alive. That'd be cool. So yeah, if you're listening, which I know you are, just hit us up. We just want to be friends, John.
Which I know you are.
Why can't we?
All right, let's talk about a Star Wars movie. I will start us off. Han Solo is just the best. He's so good in this movie. Harrison Ford is so good in this movie. They wrote Han Solo very well in this movie, and Han Solo and Harrison Ford just kills it. He is so good in this movie and in this role. It's like it was made for him, but he just doesn't like it. Why doesn't he like it? Why? No, yeah. Harrison Ford is just a treat in this movie. I really like him in this movie. It's good. Jeremy, what's something that you like about episode 5?
All the battle scenes are actually, for the time, very good.
Yeah, like so one of the things I wrote down was like, now that I know how they filmed all these battle scenes and like the special effects, I have like even greater appreciation for them because they look so good. And like you can tell the production value for like the sets and the models and all this stuff really,
and
like
the paintings.
Yeah, and the paintings really skyrocketed
Everything.
after
Everything
episode
is a painting.
4.
If it looks good, it's a painting.
And it looks
like
everything looks so good.
Yeah, like the one thing about like episode 4 is, while it's a good movie, it's just so old that like you lose some of the nostalgia just because you can like tell that like how they filmed it, but then like you watch 5, you're like, wow,
they do a
this
good
is
job
actually
of hiding
like
it.
Holds up.
Yeah, it looks really good. That was one of the things I wrote down, is that like the sets and everything, they're like on another level. That like it looks good by today's standards. Like, I wish more movies still did like miniatures and scales and stuff and practical effects, because it looks so good still. And like there are movies that still do, but like not really anymore. A lot of stuff is CG now, and a lot of stuff looks really good. It's so well done in CG that you can't even tell. But I think there's just a charm to like practical effects. Like, they just look so good because it's real life materials. What's something that you like about this movie, Parker?
Well, I just love looking back at like all the videos like describing how they did stuff, like how they would film things with like a red. I don't completely understand it because this is my field of expertise in it. But like filming some stuff with a red filter over the top and then going over it with blue to cancel some other stuff out, and it kind of is mind-boggling
so
me.
They would film things on a blue screen and then film the film negative to create to key it out, essentially, so that they would have just their object and nothing else.
But they would have to key it out by hand.
Yes.
Didn't they have to? They have to actually cut out pieces in the film to key it out.
Yeah, but they'd film the negative, or they'd film it in negative and they'd film it normally so that they had the negative, so that they could cut it out and then place that. I don't know. I remember exactly how they did it, but essentially they film a negative and they cut it out and then they'd put it over the scene that they wanted it to be.
Yeah.
So they filmed things like 4 times.
In a lot of scenes, they, instead of like things that were too big for them to move easily, they would make it look like it was moving by moving the camera in a specific way.
Yep.
And it would look like the object was moving and not the camera.
Mm-hmm. And you can kind of see that like when, it kind of goes into one of my points, is you can really tell like the scale and the power of like the Imperial fleet, and part of that is because they did the thing where like, so like the Super Star Destroyers, which are introduced in this movie, are massive. They're like 5 times the size of an Imperial Star Destroyer, and you see that as they're all flying. And the way they did that is that they filmed the model of the Super Star Destroyer really close up, and then they filmed the model of the regular Star Destroyer really far away. And the way they moved the camera to make them look like they're moving at the same speeds, but they're much smaller. One is much smaller than the other, but in reality they're probably very similar in size, and they didn't move either of them. So it's just like super cool how they did that. And like the ships just look so freaking good because they're just scale models and they just zoomed in, and you can like see all the detail, and it looks like actual like paneling and stuff like that. It just looks really good. Excuse me. Drink too much water. But yeah, it's just freaking sick. You know what I'm saying? It's just freaking sick. Bats. Freaking bats. I love Halloween. Little Vine reference for you. One thing that I like, so this movie, it really isn't about Luke. It's more about Han and Leia. And I think that's kind of why it's like so good, is that there's that new aspect to it that we at the time, when we weren't alive, we hadn't really seen before in Star Wars, which was like the love angle. And like, for one, the sexual tension between Han and Leia is thick with 2 C's. It dumb thick.
What is wrong with you?
Am I wrong?
What? You're gonna tell me I'm wrong?
No, but like.
But why would you describe it?
Seriously though, it's great because I love that it, like, because you kind of get a hint of it in episode 4 when they like wink at each other at their award ceremony, and that they don't like each other. So you can kind of tell that like something's there. But then in this one, like when they're on Hoth, you can tell that Leia doesn't like him because he's leaving and she thinks he's being selfish, but you can tell she loves him. But Han is like, he knows that she likes him and he's just playing with her, but when she starts acting cold because he's leaving, he's like, what the heck, do you like me or not? And she's like, and
just like that.
It pretty much.
It's actually my favorite line from this movie is,
you stuck up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder. Ooh,
scruffy looking.
I take it back that I said I love you line's my favorite. It might be, who's scruffy looking. That was a great line. But also, like, when they're on Hoth and Han's like, what, you afraid you couldn't give me a goodbye kiss? And then Leia's like, I'd rather kiss a Wookiee. And then Han's like, I can arrange that. And he walks off camera and you hear him go, he could use a good kiss, just from off screen. It's very, the dialogue, the writing in this movie is so good. And I think that's part of the reason I like it so much. It's probably like my favorite, is because there's that dynamic between characters that we really haven't seen in another Star Wars movie to date, like an interesting love story. And it's because they're both written so well and we've established their characters, and like the chemistry is very well written and portrayed. Like I keep calling him Han, Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher do a great job in acting. And the dude who directed this, Irving Kershner, he did like one other movie and it's bad, but for some reason The Empire Strikes Back is really good. Like, he did a really good job directing everybody on this movie, and it's like, this dude never made another good movie ever. It's so weird. Like, let me pull up his filmography really quick. Let me find him.
Just to roast him.
Yeah, just to roast him. I mean, he did one good thing, and
it was a very good thing.
He's done better than every other person to direct a Star Wars movie, so say what you will, but you know,
bring back Irving Kershner.
He might be dead.
He's probably really old if he isn't.
Oh, he directed a James Bond movie, Sean Connery James Bond movie. I don't know if that one's good. I've never really heard of it. Never Say Never Again. He also directed RoboCop 2, which apparently is not as good as the first one.
It's so random.
Yeah. He directed a movie called The Flim Flam Man.
It's my favorite superhero of all time, to be
The
honest.
Flim Flam Man. He did a lot of TV stuff in the 80s. Or no, in the 60s. I'm sorry. And the 50s. Yeah, he's definitely dead.
Whoa.
Yeah, he died in 2010.
Bring him back. Bring back his son.
I guess he did a lot of documentaries. Yeah, so I mean, like, props to him, because his nickname apparently is Kirsch, and we are the same height.
Short for Kush.
Yes. But yeah, he just did such a good job with the actors in this movie. Everyone is so good. Like, Lando is so good. Also, Han calls him a smoothie. But he is really smooth. Like, everybody's just good. It's just, I think the reason that this movie is so good is because the actors are acting well. and it was written well.
Who would have thought?
Basically, the things that make a good
writing,
movie,
good actors.
the things that make a good movie, this movie has them. Yeah.
You mean to tell me you need a good actor to have a good movie?
I guess, you know. What's something else that you like about this movie, Parker?
I don't know. There's nothing specific that I like really comes to mind. Just the whole movie is really good, and I wish I was alive for the reveal of Darth Vader being Luke's father.
Yeah,
that would have been crazy.
I wish I would have because I think I saw this movie when I was maybe 6, and I wish I would have understood the gravity of that scene, but I think I just accepted it and then grew up knowing it and never really felt the tension of it.
Yeah,
and I wish I
just
had
kind of like, oh, okay.
I saw it at such a young age and kind of just accepted it.
Yeah.
And never really thought about it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about the situation. This dude is trying to kill thousands of people. This told him that he killed his father.
Yeah, and all the things that he's learned about Darth Vader and okay, Darth Vader in this movie, for one, is a freaking G. Okay? This is probably the best version of Darth Vader other than the Rogue One scene.
That was one scene.
Yeah, and that's one scene in a whole movie.
But it was a good scene.
It makes up for the whole movie.
Scenes.
Not that the movie's bad. The movie I think is really good, but that scene alone is very good. But anyway, okay, so in this movie, one, Darth Vader kills 2 people because they fail him. Just straight up. Okay, so he murders the first guy, promotes the dude under him, and promotes the dude under him also. And then he kills the dude, one of the guys he promoted, because he failed him too. Just cause he's
for the last time.
Well, yeah, you have failed me for the last time, Commander. Also, the line where he's like, "I am altering the deal. Pray I do not alter it any further." I was like, oh, giving me chilies.
Please don't.
Darth Vader, Annie, you're giving me chilies. But also, again, just a note on the good writing of this movie, Darth Vader doesn't want to kill Luke when the Emperor's like, yeah, so Luke's your son. He needs to die. And Darth Vader's like, but what if he didn't? And the Emperor's like, oh, shoot, yeah. What if? And the Emperor doesn't sense it at all. That Darth Vader's like, I don't want to kill him. But yeah, Darth Vader's like, what if we just turned him? That's the hint that there's still good in him. But I guess you wouldn't know that if you didn't know that Darth Vader was his father. But anyways, yeah, he's like, I don't want to kill him. So you see that little bit of good in him. Let's see, what else do I have? Yeah, Vader kills 2 guys just cause. Oh, there's a throwback, or there's something that will be a callback in another movie, but there's a line where Han is holding Leia's hands and he's like, "You're trembling," and that's in episode 3 where he's like, Anakin's like, "You're trembling," and she's like, "Annie, I'm pregnant," and he's like, "Oh frick."
He's like, yay.
Shoot.
I'm so excited.
He's like,
I just can't hide it.
Oh, good.
You finna die, baby.
Something I have is, Yoda lives in a hobbit hole. Also, the crushing guilt of his war crimes and failure finally made Yoda snap, because he is a senile old man in this movie. He's just
it's probably the worst part of this movie, but also the funniest. It's just how
I don't think it's
when you look back on what Yoda is.
I don't think it's bad. I think it's fine.
I don't think it's bad, but it's just
he's old.
So weird.
He's actually old now.
He's legitimately, if someone went crazy.
Yeah, I mean he's been living by himself talking to ghosts for 20 years.
Oh, but then like literally like 30 seconds later, he's like completely normal.
Yeah.
He talks to like Luke, and then he goes crazy again.
So he probably just gained a sense of humor because he's alone and he finally snaps.
He probably doesn't care anymore. He's like, I'm old.
The Jedi are all dead.
Like if I die, who?
Also, I forgot that they hint at Leia in this movie because when Luke goes to Cloud City to go save them, Obi-Wan's like, he is our only hope, and Yoda's like, no, there's another. Also, Luke and I guess to an extent Leia, because it's canon now that Yoda wanted to train Leia instead of Luke. But so both of them. But when Luke shows up, he's like, they're the only ones that they can train, and Yoda's just like, nah, I don't want to train him. He's dumb. He's too old. And Obi-Wan's just like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, I died for this kid.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Yeah, Yoda's just like, nah, I don't really feel like it. Obi-Wan's like, boy, you better get your butt up. But yeah, I thought it was funny that Yoda's just kind of like, no, I don't want him. I don't like him.
No.
And I get it's because he wanted to train Leia instead. But apparently that wasn't her destiny. But yeah, I thought that was funny. He's just like, no. Nah. Let's see what else I have. Oh, okay. Something that I really liked about this movie. So once again, the music, because John Williams is a genius. There's not really any. There's only one that one and like a half. Like returning themes. One being the Imperial theme, just because Darth Vader is like a main character in the movie, and then the opening theme, which plays at the beginning. But the main theme of the movie is the love theme, and it like appears in like everything, and that's pretty much you're good, Daniel. But that's like the main thing in like everything, and it's a great piece of music, but like I like that they didn't really rely on any of the older stuff. I guess the older stuff is one other movie. This is the second one that came out. But I really like the love theme, and I think it's really good because again, this movie is essentially a movie about Han and Leia more so than it is about Luke or the Skywalkers, which we didn't know Leia was at the time. Again, when none of us were even alive.
None of us were close to being alive.
Yeah. But yeah. The fight scene with Luke and Darth Vader is so much better than the fight with Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. And like that fight's not terrible.
With Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, it's pretty bad.
It's not.
It's pretty terrible.
It's not terrible.
It's so bad.
It's honestly,
not
that bad.
If you look up like a fight scene from a normal movie of the time, they're like decent. Because they had to put in the lightsabers, it just.
I don't know. I think you guys are over exaggerating. Like I understand it's bad, but it's not the worst thing ever. But in comparison, the fight between Luke and Darth Vader is leaps and bounds better. It's like 3 times as long. And 2, actually good choreography. I think Darth Vader actually like jumps and flips in it. And like
he jumps, he doesn't. I don't think he flips. I can think of a couple times that he jumps though.
I think he does flip, but you like don't really see it. I think he like jumps to do a flip and it cuts. I don't know. I just watched it, but I can't remember. But yeah, he for sure jumps like down the stairs and he like jumps into the hole and stuff. But yeah, also the reveal that no, I am your father. No.
Which everyone misquotes.
Yes.
Everyone.
It's not Luke, I am your father. It's no, I am your father. He told me you killed him. No, I am your father. Classic, iconic, great. And really, I don't know if there ever was like a movie like Empire Strikes Back when it came out, Like, it was really kind of a big deal that the bad guys won, and that was the end. Like, they ended with the upper hand. Like, that was a big deal. And now it happens all the time, but, like, I think it was a really big deal when this movie came out. And it's super good still. This movie is super good 40 years later. It's still really good. I think that's all I got. Is there anything else you guys want to add about Empire Strikes Back?
No. I wish I would have watched it, but it was kind of short notice. I knew we were doing a review.
Yeah, that was might be. But yeah, I will tell you what we're doing next week so that you know what to do. Jeremy, you have anything to add?
We need to play video games for the channel.
Jeremy, we can't play anything with your internet.
Yeah. Did you guys see that picture I sent you of my friend?
You can play games.
That he got fiber. He has gigabit.
I did see that.
So he gets, I think it was like 900 download and like 800 upload.
I get 900 an hour, maybe.
He's not wrong.
Oof.
Actually,
I'm not joking.
No, well, if we are actually coming out of quarantine, I think my workload will lighten a substantial amount. So maybe, I don't know, we can play some games. But let's talk about what games or movies or TV shows or anything else that you have been doing. Jeremy, why don't you start us off? What have you been doing?
Well, my sister's watching the Avatar animated series, which Parker have to watch by December.
Yes.
Apparently, I have to watch that.
Well, okay. Well, I'm just gonna.
12 seasons.
There's 3.
There's 3.
I'm gonna say this right now. What we're doing next week is season 1 of Avatar: The Last Airbender. So
cool. So I have an excuse to not have to do the pod.
No, you're gonna watch it.
That's how it works.
No, you're gonna watch it. It's 12 episodes a season. That's more than enough time to watch it.
I'm already watching something else right now.
What? Dragon
What
Ball?
are you watching?
I have 2 episodes of Dragon Ball Kai.
Okay.
And then
when you finish
I'm
those
almost
2
on
episodes.
Season 2 of Attack on Titan.
Oh God.
Okay. Wait, because Attack on Titan will always be there. Avatar might not always be there. Also, watch it. It's better than. Well, yes, it is better. It's better than Attack on Titan.
Don't. Maybe. I'll watch it. I have to watch it.
It's different
because I'm already watching stuff.
But
I just don't know why you haven't.
And I've tried watching it as a kid, and I always
Avatar. Okay.
Not like.
Okay, you have to get through the first half of the first season, but after that, it picks up and it just doesn't stop. It's so good. Like, if I told you that you had to walk through like No Man's Land, razor wire for 100 feet, and on the other side there was $200 billion, would you do it?
I don't think it's that good. I don't think it's that good.
No, it is that good. Would you do it though? That's an ample analogy.
I would rather watch.
What's the analogy?
The beginning of Avatar is slow.
Apparently, the Avatar is better. It's as good as $20 billion.
Okay, I was exagerating.
Yeah, I'd say that. I'd say that.
But like, still,
no. This $20 billion series.
There's some bias.
That's
here.
no okay. When I say that Zuko is probably one of the best written characters in all of fiction, I am not exaggerating.
He has the best character arc of like anyone I've ever read.
I'm not exaggerating.
No one.
They legitimately make you hate him, and by the end, he's probably your favorite character.
He is the best character in that show.
Like who?
A show you haven't seen because you gave up watching it with me. Thanks.
What?
Game of Thrones.
Oh.
Oh.
Who? Jon Snow?
Oh God.
Are you talking about Jon Snow?
No, you don't ever hate Jon Snow. They failed. It didn't end up being favorite character because they got him really close and then he went completely back because the writers are stupid.
But okay, but Zuko actually is one of the best.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you, and I've told you like 7 times in the past 12 seconds that I will watch it, just not right now.
You have to watch it right now because we're doing it.
Okay.
You better watch it. And he left.
He left.
Okay, well, he's just being.
Well, also, another thing that happened to me actually was today. Has nothing to do with beat or anything, but
You got a
we're
job.
having dinner. Oh, I'm getting a job, but that's nothing to do with
Cool.
it. But the media, it was we're having dinner and we get this like, you ever had those like Maui onion chips?
Yeah, they're pretty good.
They're really good. Yeah. And so I was like, oh, I'm gonna get these chips. I was so happy to have them. And so I just sit down and like eating. I grab a chip, I eat it. I was like, this tastes like a salted like potato chip. I'm like, what the heck? And I eat a couple. I'm like, did I just grab the wrong bag? Because there is a bag of just like original chips, which are like just salt, pretty much just salt and oil on potato chips. And then I'm like, what the heck? And then my dad has like the bag, so I start eating one out there, and it's like, this just tastes like. And literally the whole bag of Maui onion chips, they just had no flavor. It's literally just cooked it, added a little salt. Is what it tastes like. I was so disappointed.
It's a big rip.
Have you had the hot ones?
Like the jalapeno?
The mango habanero?
No, I've had
the jalapeno chips are pretty good.
The mango habanero chips are the hottest chips I've ever eaten. Like out of any of the hot chips.
Are they good or are they just hot?
Do they have good flavor?
No, they're good flavor. No, they're good. They're not just hot. They're really good.
All right, but
anyway, Parker, what have you been doing?
Attack on Titan, and then I've been trying to find games to play with Jeremy, and all have failed. Except for Dota Underlords.
Is season 2 Sasageo the theme?
That's before. I don't know. I'm not on season 2 yet. I'm about to go. The theme song changes before season 1.
Wait,
which is kind of sad.
But you've seen season 1. You're watching it again?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched it in so long. I haven't watched it since whatever it came out, like sophomore year of high school.
I guess I haven't seen it since you told me about it when I was a sophomore. Or maybe I was a junior.
I think you were a sophomore and I was a freshman.
Okay. I finally finished it like 2 months ago. No,
I have not. I stopped watching it because
every season
honestly,
is
nothing made
so
sense.
different than the other seasons. But each one,
each
season is good in its own right, but they're all so different from each other.
You can see like how they correlate. You're like that's the route they went down. There could have been so many. It just takes a sharp turn there in season 3. It's not, I wouldn't like necessarily.
It's not bad, but it just goes off the rails. It's random.
It just doesn't. It feels like it's like the problem I had with like Korra was like each season felt like its own thing.
Get me started on Korra.
But anyway,
so,
I didn't remember who any of the characters are, so I really wanted to watch it.
I wish 2 and 3 had a little bit more of like the feel of season 1, just because I love that style a lot. But 2 and 3 are still.
I
really
will
good.
say like the fighting scenes in like season 3 are dope.
Yes.
Yeah, when they first fight Titans at the beginning of season 1, I'm like, this isn't as epic as I remember.
Yeah,
the epicness in season 1 is once Eren becomes a Titan and they start fighting Annie.
I remember you guys told me I should watch the show because it wasn't that long ago that I first started watching it, and I was like, oh, dude, they're hyping this dude up.
Yeah, and then he dies.
He
dies in like episode 3.
I was like, what?
Yeah, it's
Aaron. Oh,
yeah, he dies in like the 3rd episode.
Tabitha,
you're like, what show is this?
Tabitha was like, wait, what?
I know, when you told me about it,
but
I'm
then
like,
it gets...
what? He's dead.
He dead.
Yeah, and he's dead for like a whole episode. He doesn't come back to like the 5th episode.
But it's so good.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like a lot of shows are afraid to do, is just like, oh,
we're gonna kill the main character.
Everyone's gonna get pissed.
I mean, we're gonna bring him back, but
like,
we're gonna kill him.
But we're straight up gonna have a brutal death.
Yeah. What about? I mean, he goes out like a G though, saves his friend, but What else have you been doing,
Still,
What?
So what else have you been doing?
We started a Project Ozone 3 server, which I've been playing this whole time.
But
waiting for the new Pokemon DLC to come out.
yeah, okay, so that comes out next month, and so does Smash, and we haven't had any word about it for like 3 months.
Yeah.
Also, I still need to buy both of those things. But still. Yeah.
Yeah. I moved back to Boise because lease was up. Grande.
La Grande. Just live in Idaho and drive 2 hours every day to go to school.
Yeah,
just
that's
do online school
and practice and.
Well, just run to practice. There's your practice.
You don't
There
need
you go.
practice. You're talking about
It'll
practice.
take you 3 days to get there.
Probably. It would probably take. How fast can you walk? However many.
Just have someone's house you can just stay at.
Well, for me, I been chipping away at Final Fantasy VII. I was playing a bit last night, and I saw somewhere that it was like a 30-hour game, and maybe it's just because I'm bad at it, which is probably the case. I am almost at like 50 hours, which it's like
You're pretty bad.
pleasantly surprised. Because, okay, we'll get to that. I was pleasantly surprised that I think I just made it to the end of the game, which I was playing last night, and I lost a fight because it was stupid. And I was like, okay, I'll start over from the last battle. But apparently, the entire ending sequence is one battle. So I went through like 30 minutes of the final battle, and then I had to redo it. And so I was like, I'm not doing this. It was like 2 a.m. I'm like, I'm not going through this again. So I will finish that later. But
How many hours do you have?
almost 50.
Oh, you just said
Yeah.
that.
Okay, what I will say is, so this game, it might just be because I don't have a lot of experience with action RPGs, but it's weird because like some fights, the combat just clicks, and it feels so good, and it's fun, and it's great. But then some fights, like, it just nothing works. And I get every enemy and every boss has a weakness. That's the kind of style of these games. But like some of the bosses, so you have an ability that tells you like what weaknesses are or what you can do to exploit them if it doesn't straight up tell you. But then there are just some that don't tell you anything. They're like, hey, also this thing resists everything and there's no way to stagger it. Have fun. And it's like, okay.
They said there was one ability you could use. Just tell you what ability.
Yeah, okay. Well, so there's a fight I was doing yesterday. Jeremy was watching me play. So if you so it's this dude and his dog, and he has a gun. If you attack the dude,
dude and his dog and his gun.
Yes. If you attack the guy, he automatically puts you into a counter and shoots you. And then, so you can't attack him. So you have to attack his dog. But his dog is a bullet sponge and takes a ton of hits. And 90% of the time, he's close to the guy. So if you accidentally hit the guy, he will knock you out of your attack, counter you, and shoot you. And then, like, neither of them are weak to anything, so it's literally just hit them. And then, like, it took me forever to figure it out. And because it took me forever to figure it out what the weakness was. For Egger. Oh, I'm not going to say it again because it took me forever to figure it out. By the time I did, I was like playing catch up. So I'd heal, do the thing, heal, do it. Like I didn't even have time to do the thing. I would heal, hit him, heal, hit him, heal, hit him. And I just was at the same health and I needed to get more health. Then finally I got enough health to where I could start doing the strategy, which was to use magic to put him in a stun state and then run. Also, every freaking enemy has like unblockable attacks that put you into stun state that combo into other attacks, and it's the most frustrating thing. It's so frustrating.
So
it happens. Okay, in Hyrule Warriors, there are bosses that do that too. And when I play that game, I would get so angry, and Ben would just laugh at me. But the same thing happens in this game. But yeah, so it's like some fights are just super good and really fun, and then some fights are just like a struggle to get through, and they're frustrating. And it was weird too, because like I did one like right before that fight with the guy and his dog. That was a really fun fight. And then the next fight, it's like, okay, your only party member is Cloud. In the last fight, you had 2 other party members, And now your only party member is Cloud, and you have to fight this dude on his own, and it's like, oh, okay, what the frick. But, so yeah, I've been playing that. Hopefully I will finish it, and then, I don't know if I really did anything else. Oh, by the way, I am completely caught up on One Piece.
What? No, you're not.
I am.
When did you watch One Piece?
I am completely caught up on One Piece.
No, what arc are you on?
I just finished the last episode in Wano, where Big Mom is going with them to break Luffy out of jail.
What? You've been watching it this whole time?
Yep, I started it like 3 months ago, and I'm completely caught up. I've watched all of it.
God. It's so
okay,
good.
And it's
so
really
all this
good.
time when you say you don't have time to do stuff, this is what
Watching
you're
Well,
doing.
I watch One Piece, like, I watch a few episodes before bed. That's like what I did with Naruto when I did that. So yeah, I'm completely caught up on One Piece. And it's super freaking good. It's very good. Okay, I will say this. Luffy's an idiot. He gets
the whole point.
better
So funny.
in the later seasons.
But
He's
he
a-
almost gets dumber at the
he's
same
a
time.
Big old freaking
So
idiot.
funny.
But then he does something to redeem himself, and you're like, okay, I love you again. But my favorites are probably Chopper,
Choppa?
Choppa, Tony Choppa, Chopper,
Tony Choppa.
Zoro, and Usopp. I think are my 3 favorites. Or actually, I think I might like Robin more than Usopp, but
I like Usopp just because of the
because
Water
he's
7.
you. That's why you like.
No, what are you talking
He
about?
looks like you.
What? He doesn't look. He just had long hair when I had long
Yeah,
hair.
that's why he looks like you.
What?
Sogeking.
Dude.
Also, okay, the Big Mom arc
Sogeking.
freaking sucked. I hate Big Mom. I wanted her to get shot in the face. I wish she would have died.
That was the whole point of
No,
the
I
arc.
hate. She's a
It was,
terrible
like, terrible.
character. I hate her so much. I like Katakuri a lot though. He's pretty cool. But
Dude,
the animation
well, yeah,
style
that was.
in the Wano arc is Wano Kuni is so good. It looks just like if you Parker, you need to watch Super so you can watch the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie because it's a very similar art
Yeah.
style.
I plan on it.
It's so good. But yeah,
I have like a list of movies I'm gonna watch by or list of shows and stuff and watch by myself, and the other ones I'm watching with Tabitha.
and like yeah, the animation in the Wano arc is so good. Yeah, so I've been watching One Piece, so I guess that's what I've been doing.
God.
So I guess we're looking forward to Parker. You already kind of said Pokemon.
Do I have to rewatch One Piece now? I think I
No.
did.
Well, episode 20 or 929 came out like a few weeks ago, so
Yeah, it's because of COVID. They're not putting episodes
I
out.
know. I was like, I want to keep watching
So
because
sad.
apparently they have like up to episode 32 done ish, but they can't like finish them because they can't get together for COVID or whatever. But
Yeah.
it's dumb. But yeah. So Jeremy, what are you looking forward to?
Shoot. I mean, it's not like it's just like I feel like it's just the same every week. Like looking forward to Tenet, Paper Mario,
Mm-hmm.
like Smash DLC. Like I'm always looking forward to that.
Yep.
Just because I
Yeah,
can't play
kinda
because I don't
forgot.
have internet.
I keep wanting to ask you every day if you want to play Smash, but then I remember.
Play Smash with me.
So I want to practice.
I'll play with you.
You don't want to play anything.
I do.
ever.
I just don't want to play the games that you want to play. But I will play Smash. I will make time for Smash. And I will make
I'm
time
saying we should try. We should play
to
Castle
Smash.
Crashers or something.
to Smash. Yeah, I'd be down to play Castle Crashers. Me, I guess I'm looking forward to Pokemon and Smash and watching Avatar again with Parker and
Wait, watching it with me?
yeah, because you're gonna watch it this week.
I don't know about this week, but I can't really can't binge stuff until school's over.
You have a week. You don't have to binge it.
Okay, yeah, a week, which I have to write papers all week.
Okay, whenever you take a break from a paper, which you should do after you've been working on it for a few hours, take a break, watch an episode, and then go back to writing.
Okay, maybe I'll watch it while we are. Usually, I watch Dragon Ball Z when me and Jeremy are playing Underlord. So
I would say this though, for like the first, like this isn't for your first time. I feel like you have to pay attention. So maybe we'll do it later, but like, this is a show that you can't like have on in the background and really get everything from it. Like you got to pay attention.
Yeah, but a lot of people say that about a lot of shows.
But this one's kind of like, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
It's special because reasons.
Because it's good. But
I don't watch shows that are bad.
How would you watch a bad show?
Exactly.
I think that's speaking of good shows. I think that's it for this show. So I just realized I'm like a foot away from my mic, so it might have been kind of quiet. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you find time out of your busy schedule to come back and listen to us next week. But come on, we all know you've got nothing better to do. If you are on iTunes or Spotify, make sure to leave a review and tell a friend. It really helps us out. And if you're on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And, well, we will see you next week. Parker, why don't you do the honors?
What?
Say bye.
What do I have the honor of doing? Bye.
All right.
See ya.